All right, so another left field option for the Yankees has presented itself, and his name is Nick Gordon with the Minnesota Twins. Okay, and it's been talked about by a couple different folks recently, but in all signs are still pointing, and especially Brandon Cuddy mentioned this too, is that it's kind of looks like Brian Reynolds or bust for the Yankees. They're waiting to see whether this thing is going to happen, whether it's going to be traded or taken off the trade market before they make some kind of move, unless they come up with an offer that, a trade proposal or an offer that they can't refuse. But Brian Reynolds is clearly their first pick. And I know there's a lot of folks are discouraged right now, and I get everybody's frustration too, but there are 5 weeks left in spring training. I mean, 2 spring training, 5 weeks left to the offseason. It is not over yet. Cashman is not done making moves, okay? And we know this. He's notorious for this. Does it every single year. He makes moves right down to the very end. They're not all sexy moves, but he's putting depth pieces all over the place, loading up the minor leagues. And I still think an infielder is going to be traded because there's a logjam of infielders. And if they want to bring up Anthony Volpe at some point, if he wins a job during spring training, they're going to have to move somebody. So I just can't see a scenario where the Yankees are done making moves, and especially not with the left field position. And like I said before, I'm fine with the Yankees keeping Oswaldo Cabrera. I highly doubt they're going to go with Aaron Hicks. Of course, they're going to say he's going to be a starter. They want him to, and they're pushing him hard right now, apparently, in trades. And they're hyping him up pretty good. So, I know they're eager to move him, as they're eager to move Josh Donaldson. So, hello, Mets, you need a third baseman, right? But anyway, Nick Gordon, let me just give you a snippet of his stats here. 272 batting average last year, 9 home runs, 50 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, an OPS of 743. But he's a career 261 hitter, 13 homers, 73 RBIs. He's only pre-arb, so 16 stolen base. So he's got a little bit of speed. He bats lefty, throws righty, so he dresses the left field left-handed hitting option for the Yankees. And it looks like he's got enough speed to be a leadoff hitter. And again, he's got contact hitting more than he does power. Obviously, hits with a little bit of power, but we need somebody at the top of this lineup. If it's not Brian Reynolds, somebody like this guy. And again, I didn't consider him before. I wasn't really listening for him. I mean, obviously, people were talking about Max Kepler and Luis Arias, and we just don't know what the Yankees are going to do. So, and I don't even know if they're going to. I don't think any of us know whether they're going to back up that big trade that's as bigger or bigger than the Carlos Rodon signing. So that still remains to be seen. But a Brian Reynolds trade would represent that, something right up there with it. Okay, that would really put them over the top. And then you'd have your leadoff hitter. And then you can kind of consistently build out that lineup, whether it be Gordon or Reynolds. And again, Reynolds is still my first pick too. But Nick Gordon, take a look at him. He's not afraid until 2028, so they have 5 seasons of control. So he's got 2 more pre-arb years and 3 arb years, so before he hits free agency. So they'll have him on the cheap, which would also fit their goal of trying to not exceed the $293 million Steve Cohen luxury tax threshold. So Brian Reynolds will represent that too. And again, something to keep in mind, if an extension starts in 2024, then it's not going to affect their payroll this year. Okay? I think he's on $6 million salary. So, yeah, they would have to move a salary, and I think they'll do that. It'll be easier for them to move a salary like that if they got somebody like Brian Reynolds. But if they start, just like Rafael Devers, whose extension is not starting until next year, purposely keeping them under the threshold levels this year. The same thing would apply to a Brian Reynolds extension, too. I don't think his extension would start until next year, too. So that can keep him on his salary in the $6 million range for payroll reasons. So it makes sense to do that. And again, Nick Gordon would be on the cheap for 5 years. So another option to consider. Have you heard of him? What do you know about him? But again, I do think at the end of the day, somebody with legs who can hit with contact, we'll take whatever power we get, but at the leadoff spot, so that you could plug DJ behind him, and then Judge, and then Rizzo, and then Stanton. It would be more representative of a consistent front half of the lineup, and I think it would be a good thing. We would put them in positions to manufacture more runs. So Nick Gordon's guy being talked about now, and they're also, by the way, they were heavily on the Dalton Varsho trade talks before the Blue Jays came in and swooped them up. So looks like they were close runner-up for Varsho, but it's in the past now. It doesn't matter. Blue Jays got him. But let me know what you think about Nick Gordon. And obviously, I'm confident now. We're getting several moves a day now, so I'm confident things are going to be somewhat consistent over the next batch of days. We have 5 weeks left, and there's over 100 guys that need to be signed. So think about it that way. It's, let's just say 5 weeks left, 35 days, at least 3 signings per day or something like that on average. So I'm pretty confident there's going to be some pretty significant activity. So I hope you enjoy the content enough to subscribe to the channel. So, and I appreciate it one way or the other. But I will keep you updated one way or another. But give me some insight. Load up the comments. Thoughts about Nick Gordon. And again, I would take him over Max Kepler. I want a guy who can run faster. Kepler's good defensively. Looks like Gordon's pretty solid defensively, too. Gordon's on the cheaper. And now they have a glut of outfielders. Remember, they got Joey Gallo, too, in area. So the Twins, I think, looks like they have to move an outfielder. Just like the Yankees have to move an infielder to make this puzzle fit a little bit more effectively. But let's get into it. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.